Today's trip is through Namibia. After spending a few days in Johannesburg, we set off towards Windhoek, the capital of Namibia. But before I share my complete experience with you, here are some highlights of this unforgettable trip. Namibia, bordered on the west by the Atlantic Ocean, is located south of Angola and north of South Africa, the country from which it gained independence in 1990. However, well before that, Namibia had already been occupied by the Germans as well as the British. Namibia is one of the least densely populated countries on Earth, mainly because of its unforgiving terrain that consists of a semi-arid plateau and a deserted coastal strip. The deposits of diamond, uranium and other minerals, in which the subsoil is rich, are part of this country's natural wealth. The geographical areas of Namibia are quite diverse. It has the Central Plateau, which has an altitude between 1,000 and 1,500 meters, the Namib Desert along the entire Atlantic coast, averaging 200 kilometers wide and extending for about 2,000 kilometers from Angola to South Africa. The Great Escarpment, a mountain range that crosses all of South Africa and then continues to Angola, the Bushveld, a subtropical woodland ecoregion in the northern part of Namibia, and finally, the western part of the Kalahari Desert. You may have noticed that in Namibia they drive on the left side, as in South Africa, an evident inheritance from its early colonizers. Windhoek is a modern and peaceful city. Shops in the city open very early and close considerably early as well. The movement of people on the streets around 6 p.m. is so little that it gives the impression that there is even a curfew after that time, but in fact, it's just a matter of culture. We rested, and the next day we headed towards Sesriem. On the way from Windhoek to Sesriem, we stopped at a very special place. Well, at least for me, as I am openly a coffeeholic. 90 kilometers from Rehoboth, one will be surprised to find Gunther, a coffee specialist who owns CONNY'S coffee shop. In fact, Gunther took over the restaurant in 2017 when he was looking for a place away from the hustle and bustle of cities to open his specialty cafeteria. Many tourist groups stop there on their way to Sossusvlei. Coffee is his forte, and his passion for coffee stems from his grandfather, who was one of the first coffee roasters in Namibia. Gunther grew up with the smell of roasted coffee, which he has since associated with the feeling of being safe at home. He trained as a barista in Hamburg, Germany, and also offered beer-making courses in Windhoek when he returned to Namibia. In this place, you will have the opportunity to taste coffees from different parts of the world, and of course, you will learn a lot about coffee and its varieties. After getting our caffeine fix, we got back on the road to Sesriem, which is a small village located in the Namib Desert at the southern end of the Naukluft Mountains. Sesriem is mainly known for the Sesriem Gate, which is the main access point to the Namib-Naukluft National Park, for visitors both entering the park and also visiting the nearby tourist attraction of Sossusvlei. Sesriem is essentially a filling station and use of basic services, such as public telephones and small kiosks where travelers can get staples such as food and drinks. In the Sesriem region, there are several lodges and camping areas. We chose to camp, which is not a bad option. That said, it's important to make sure you bring along your complete camping kit to avoid surprises. Not all camping areas have items such as mattresses and blankets for rent, and the nights in the desert are pretty cold. The next day, we visited the Sesriem Canyon and watched the sunset in the Elim Dunes, another spectacle of nature. We left for Swakopmund, but not before visiting the big star of Namibia, Sossusvlei. Sossusvlei is possibly the most spectacular and most well-known attraction in Namibia. Characterized by the large red dunes that surround it, Sossusvlei is a large white salt and clay pot, and it is a great destination at any time of the year. The dunes in this area are some of the highest in the world, reaching almost 400 meters, and provide photography enthusiasts with wonderful images in the beautiful morning and evening light. Sossusvlei literally translates to dead end swamp, as it is a place where the dunes meet, preventing the Sub-Saharan River from flowing further, about 60 kilometers east of the Atlantic Ocean. However, due to drought conditions in the Namib Desert, the river rarely flows here and the pot remains dry most years. We went on to Swakopmund, but before that, we stopped at a small town called SOLITAIRE. This remote settlement, on the edge of Namib-Naukluft National Park, has been a welcome stop for over 60 years. There, the weary traveler will find convenience store, petrol station, food and drinks. You will also be able to stretch your legs during the long trip from Sesriem to Swakopmund. Before arriving in Swakopmund, we passed Walvis Bay, the second most populous city in Namibia, second only to the capital. Most of Namibia has its population concentrated in cities far away from each other. Despite this, Swakopmund, the fourth most populous, is very close to Walvis Bay, and there we wanted to visit the colony of flamingos. Swakopmund was one of the first port cities in Namibia, and the German colonization was well marked, mainly in the architecture. Out of all the places we visited, I really liked the Crystal Gallery. Unfortunately, I couldn't register much from there because jewelry is sold there and photographing and filming are prohibited for security reasons. For some time now I have been interested in crystals for the useful characteristics, not to mention their beauty obviously. If you also like crystals, it is a must-see. We also visited the snake park, where we could see the dreaded black mamba up close. And it was amazing to see the intimacy of Stewart with one of the most poisonous snakes in Africa. Another gem was the city's aquarium, and it was really cool to see the diversity of the marine species that exist there. The city pier is an excellent place to watch the sunset. It was difficult to leave Swakopmund without buying all the wonderful crafts from the local fairs, but as I say, it's one more excuse to return. From there, we went on to Etosha National Park to go on safari, but we made some stops along the way. We saw the shipwreck in HENTIESBAAI. We also made a real trip back in time to witness how pink salt used to be sold. Producers would leave a piece of wood with different prices written on it. The price variation was due to the size of the salt stone, and a small pot was left for buyers to leave the money. According to our guide, traders went to that place once a week to collect what they had sold. Further on, going up the Atlantic coast, there was still one more place that interested us: Cape Cross. The Cape was discovered by the Portuguese navigator Diogo Cão, who erected a large stone cross, a pattern, in 1486 to mark the southernmost region hitherto reached by Europeans in Africa. In 1893, when that area was part of the German colonial empire, the pattern was taken to Germany, where it remained on display at the Berlin Museum of History. In 2019, it was returned to Namibia. Cape Cross is also a marine sanctuary with the largest colony of seals in the world. There, up to 200,000 seals reproduce between November and December. There is also a sustainable harvesting of seals, which takes place annually in the reserve. A quota of these animals are slaughtered because they are the fishermen's biggest competitors for consumption of fish. For that reason, this practice has the full support of the population, and especially of the fishing industry. The environmental movement Sea Shepherd questioned the brutal practice and made a request to the responsible government agency to prevent this slaughter. However, according to the lawyer John Waters, considering a population of over 1 million of these animals in Namibia, it was decided that an annual slaughter of up to 80,000 cubs and 6,000 adults, about 7.2% of the population, represented a sustainable practice. We arrived at Etosha. Etosha National Park is a natural conservation area in northern Namibia, and it is one of Africa's most significant reserves. In Namibia, it is the most important national park. Today, the park covers an area of almost 23,000 square kilometers, and it is completely fenced to protect animals. The best time to visit Namibia is from May to October. The temperatures are milder, and it is the least rainy period, thus facilitating the observation of the wildlife. I don't usually repeat places when it comes to leisure travel, but I must admit that 10 days were not enough for this beautiful country. I still want to go back, mainly to visit some ethnic groups in Namibia, such as the Himbas, which are the last semi-nomadic people in Africa. They migrated from Angola to Namibia about 200 years ago, in search of more fertile soils. Our guide Sydney is a descendant of the Damaras, people who have a very interesting linguistic characteristic. I will share with you a little of his language so that you have an idea of how peculiar it sounds. Sydney, how old are you? And what's your phone number? Right guys, I'm signing off now. I'll leave you some more beautiful images of this incredible country, and in case you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and show some love, leaving your like and comment. There is also an African proverb that I'd like to share with you. To get lost is to learn the way. So, I hope you do get lost in this world, because it is indeed wonderful. See you soon.
you.